Hey, what's up, guys? So, coming to you this morning. This is the boxing preview for the week of what would Monday be? Today is September 2nd today? So, Monday would have been August 31st. So, August 31st through September 6th, which is on Sunday. So, so with that being said, let's jump into what's going on. Only a couple fight cards to talk about, coming up. Nothing huge and major, but we'll kick it off Saturday night on ESPN Plus. We got a fight card. 3 fights that I think are probably worth looking at. 2 guys up and comers on the undercard. You got Steven Nelson, undefeated super middleweight. That's 168. He's got, I believe he's like 16-0 with 13 knockouts, so he's on the rise. He's fighting some guy named DeAndre Ware, who's not really a known super middleweight, but that dude's like 13-2 or something like that. But Nelson is trained by Oquendo's trainer, Bomac, and Terrence Crawford's trainer. They all train together. So that's a big deal right there. So that should be decent just to watch a guy on the rise right there. Got a pretty solid record. Maybe in the next year or two going to be making a name for himself at 168. He's got a great trainer, so we'll see how he does. But I'm predicting him to get probably a knockout win over Ware and stay undefeated. Then in a co-feature, well, I don't know if it's a co-feature or not between these 2 fights, but also on the undercard is undefeated and highly touted heavyweight prospect Jared Anderson. 5-0, 5 knockouts. He's taking on some unknown dude from Stockton, California, named Rodney Hernandez, I think. Anderson's probably just a tune-up bout for him, stay busy bout. Probably going to get a knockout, but it's heavyweights, Dude that's trying to come up, make a name for himself at heavyweight. Never can go wrong. Very rarely goes wrong when it's 2 big dudes like heavyweights going at it. And it'll probably end in a knockout, so I'm predicting Anderson to win by knockout on the undercard. But the main event gonna feature Jamel Herring, former Marine, 130-pound champion, WBO super featherweight champ. That's 130. He's making his second defense of his title against veteran Jonathan Oquendo. Oquendo's fought for world titles before, but this fight shouldn't even be close. This is basically a prelude fight to a showdown with Carl Frampton that's supposed to take place before the end of the year for Herring. So as long as he looks good against Oquendo and retains his world title, then he's most likely fighting Carl Frampton next. So I really don't see this fight being close. The real question is does it end by knockout or not? Herring, not a big power guy, and Oquendo has been able to take punches in the past. He's got a strong chin. But I think it's gonna be such a one-sided fight that I think Herring's gonna dominate. So I think it'll end in the late rounds, but it very likely could go to a decision also. And I think Herring's gonna win a one-sided decision or a late TKO and retain his world title, setting up the showdown with Carl Frampton. So that's Saturday on ESPN Plus. Then on Sunday, on Fox, a rare Sunday card, we got one of the best welterweights in the world, 147, the best division right now in boxing, Yordenis Ugas. He's number 7 for me at welterweight right now, right behind the big 6, which are Crawford, Spence, Pacquiao, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia. You got Yordenis Ugas. I got him even ahead of Mikey Garcia at 147. Ugas is very, very good, very talented fighter. Almost beat Sean Porter last year, lost a very close split decision in a fight a lot of people thought Ugas should have won the title in. And, he's beaten Jamal James, who really made a name for himself last month when he beat, Thomas Delorme. So he's fighting for the vacant, Ugas is fighting for the vacant WBA regular title against Abel Ramos, who is coming off of a bigger win in his career. Hasn't lost since he lost a close decision to Jamal James a few years ago. So he's trying to pull off the upset. Ugas is trying to capture his first world title, albeit a secondary world title, but Ugas is a very good fighter. Like I said, no matter what, He really is. He fights for the PBC, but he's the avoided guy in the PBC after the way he looked against what's his name, Porter last year. So he's trying to win a secondary world title to throw himself in the mix even more. Don't forget on the Pacquiao undercard last year, Pacquiao Thurman undercard, Ugas absolutely dominated Omar Figueroa Jr. Just picked him apart, beat the shit out of him, almost stopped him, got a one-sided decision win there, and that was the biggest win of his career. So win here to capture a secondary world title, I think it's very likely going to lead to a rematch with Jamal James, who just became the interim champion. So these guys in the back of the top 10 are knocking on the door trying to get those big fights with the other guys who are fighting each other. So a good fight right here, the main event. Really nothing to speak of on the undercard. You got undefeated up-and-comer Omar Juarez fighting some nobody on the undercard. The PBC, it was supposed to be Rances Barthelemy against Albert Puello. Barthelemy, former 2-division champ, and Puello, undefeated up-and-comer. They were supposed to fight for the vacant WBA interim championship at 140, junior welterweight. But Puello had visa issues trying to get into the country, so that fight has been scratched. That fight will still happen later in the year, but that was supposed to be the co-feature. So that's what's going on this weekend. ESPN Plus on Saturday, Jamel Herring and Jonathan Oquendo for the super featherweight title. Jared Anderson fighting on the heavyweight. Jared Anderson fighting on the undercard. Undefeated super middleweight. What's his name? Steven Nelson on the undercard. And then on Sunday on Fox, you got your Dennis Ugas and Abel Ramos for the 147-pound welterweight WBA regular championship. And on the undercard, Omar Juarez fighting, trying to keep his undefeated record intact. So I think Juarez wins by knockout. So that's it. That's the boxing preview, the predictions for this weekend, covering August 31st through September 6th. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.